Nicholson. This week, it's been reported that 68% of UK adults are overweight or obese. Is there any hope for this being resolved, or are we doomed to becoming an overweight nation?
And in addition to that, 33% of the children aged between 2 and 15 are obese or overweight. And this, amongst other things, the Academy of Medical Royal Colleges, which is a huge number of Royal Colleges, have said that advertising should be banned when children are watching television if those are for products which have high in saturated fat, sugar, salt and so on before 9 o'clock. Mark Harper, any hope?
The sort of issue, actually, which government can solve by itself. You can't pass a law to make everybody eat more healthily or take more exercise.
You could ban advertising of junk food in the time that children watch. The advertisers say there's no evidence to show that it has any impact.
Well, exactly. So therefore you could do
Except
that.
on one, that's why they advertise.
Well, I think the advertising argument is always the one that they accept that half their money is wasted. They just don't know which half. But I mean, the evidence is there isn't clear evidence that would be effective.
Oh, Mark, it's such rubbish. You know it is. We know that if people eat junk, they will get fat and they will be ill, and then the National Health will have to pick up the tab. You know, why don't you just stand, as a government, stand up to the companies who are making money out of people's misery and just say it has to stop?
Well, because that's very easy to say.
As soon as you become a politician, you just talk.
No.
If you're an ordinary human being, you wouldn't be talking like this. You know,
I just started off by saying in my answer that it was about healthy eating and about what people ate.
They
and I said it was about doing
healthily
exercise.
if everything they see in the supermarket is made of absolute crap.
Well, no, I think people are. I actually think this comes back to the jury question. I think members of the public are perfectly capable of looking at what they eat, making sensible, healthy choices.
Of course they're not. Do you ever take your specs into the supermarket and look what's on the back in the ingredients? Because believe me, I do, and it's a shock. But most people are not in there thinking, I will read the back of this. It says things like, you know, traditional bolognese, never mind that it's made with horse meat. But, you know, you believe what it says on the front. People are taken in by packaging. That's what packaging's for. It says healthy, it says low fat, it says low sugar. Actually, it's full of plasticizers and extruders and E-numbers and trans fats. But nobody's looking on the back. So they're not making those choices because we're still a nation who trusts what we're told. We don't think that we're being mercilessly ripped off by food companies that the government won't stand up to.
Deborah Meaton.
I actually go back one step further because I think that advertising is one thing, but that's a very difficult thing to actually remove all images of everything, because that's basically what we would have to do. What I think is very important is the education, because I certainly know that when I was at school, I was actually taught about what I should and I shouldn't be eating. And actually, if you don't know, it's one thing saying, well, look at the ingredients, but if you haven't got the slightest idea what an E10735 is, you really don't know whether it's the right thing to eat or not.
Oh, come on, of course you do. If it says E017...
Actually, you're right. If it says E3, it's wrong. It's bad. You're quite right. Well, yeah, absolutely. So there is that. But I do pick up on what Mark said. The other side of that is also exercise. And that, again, needs to start at school. I mean, we can have the whole argument over school playing fields and spaces.
Not just playing fields. In my government, in the last government, we stipulated that every school child had to have 2 hours of PE a week. Very reasonable. Everybody needs to have exercise. Doesn't cost anything.
Didn't you preside over quite a lot of playing fields being closed?
Well,
yes, they did.
Yes, we did, but hang on. But this government is also presiding over playing fields being sold off, but that is not the point. What I was going to come on to say...
So it makes it all right?
Excuse me, no, but when this government came into office, one of the first things they did was to say to schools, well, you don't have to do 2 hours of PE a week, you can do it however much you want to, it's just up to the school. And so exercise is absolutely fundamental and key, and kids should be having more exercise
at school. And just on that exercise point...
Well, because as a government, we don't think that actually having Whitehall instructions sent out to every head teacher... I go to the schools in my constituency and elsewhere. I think schools are capable of working out how best to educate their children, looking at what they need and making those sensible decisions. That's what we pay head teachers for.
Unless I misunderstand it, doesn't the government with the curriculum send out effectively a diktat? the school curriculum.
We laid down
and
a
the question is what you have in the curriculum,
but
whether you have
that
exercise
issue
or not.
there, what about how many hours of PE you spent a week, I don't think was particularly effective. And I think I'm right in saying the evidence is that actually since we removed some of that central control, there's actually more exercise taking place rather than less.
Oh, come on, Mark. Where's that from? What evidence?
Well, I think that has run
What worries me is as if we were all perfectly capable, as the right wing tends to believe, of making our own decisions and we knew what to eat and we knew how much to exercise, why have we got a problem?